Hello and welcome back to my channel, everyone. Hope you're doing fantastically well. Today we're going to be watching James Whale, his sidekick to your left-hand side, the buffoon, and also this gentleman here who used to be a former Brexit Party MEP. James Whale has got a bee in his bonnet about people that don't get vaccinated. Because he has that attitude, buffoon man to your left-hand side. And come on, guys, he does look like a buffoon. I'm not saying that I'm an oil painting, but I know for a fact that I'd be looking better than that if I was going to be on national radio every day being watched. But that's another story. James Whale has a problem again with people not taking the vaccinations. This gentleman here in the middle has had the COVID virus. Due to the fact of him having the virus, he doesn't believe that he should be taking the jab because he's got the antibodies. James Whale believes that somehow the government are God. And if the government tell you that you need to take the vaccine, then you must take the vaccine.
Have you had your vaccines yet or not?
No, I haven't, no.
Why?
This guy's on national radio. National radio. The guy to your left-hand side there, buffoon man I call him. I don't know his name. Buffoon man I call him. He just tutted like a little child or a parent talking down to their child. Somehow he has a problem with him not taking the vaccine. And he's showing his I can't even pronounce it now. Disdain for it. By acting like a child. So it starts off really well, this interview, doesn't it?
Well, for starters, I had COVID. I was tested positive for COVID, and I recovered from COVID last year. So I've got antibodies, right? And I think the latest data shows that actually you've got equivalent immunity in terms of antibodies versus having the vaccine. And, you know, if you look at ONS data, I think they're saying now that 92% of the adult population, that's all over 16 years old, have got antibodies now. So I think, you know, this argument is really becoming...
James, have you actually been tested and your local hospital have said, yes, here you are, you have antibodies, you have no need for a vaccine? Have they?
I'm going to ask every one of you, okay? I'm 48 years of age, so I'm going to ask every single one of you. When is the last time that you went into a hospital to find out if you've got the antibodies for a virus? Have you ever done that? Ever? Maybe you go into another country that you need to have the jab, any kinds of viruses, you know, Africa and other countries, for instance, that you need to have a few jabs. Have you ever gone to a hospital to say, Doctor, Mr. Doctor, Mr. Nurse, could you check if I've got anti things in my body so that I can check if I don't need the jab or not? Can I do that, please? This is how pathetic this guy is.
Done that?
Well, they haven't said I've had no need for a vaccine, but I've been tested positive. We know how it came into the household, and I was actually quite ill for about 6 weeks with it. It was probably a little bit worse than a bad bout of flu, but you know, I recovered, and you know, now I've got antibodies, so I don't see the need.
Yeah, but doctors don't say you've got. Oh, you've had it. They don't say you don't need the vaccines.
That didn't.
Maybe your doctors don't say it, but are you trying to say that every single doctor is exactly the same, buffoon man?
Answer my question.
They say, you know, you still should have the vaccines, don't they?
No, they don't. Some do, some don't.
Well, yeah, okay, they might say that, but the thing is, if you've got antibodies from natural immunity, that is equivalent. And actually,
Well, why would they say it then? Why would they say you should have it? Why wouldn't?
Some doctors do and some don't. I mean, what is wrong with you? Do you not come out of your bubble? Do you not realise that there's another world out there where people have different views? This is the problem with the mass media. Even people on talk radio. How they've got James Whale on talk radio now is a joke because he doesn't believe in what the station was made for in the first place, to actually have free speech to understand that there are different points of view. Because I've been watching James Whale recently, and all he's been doing is just shutting down people. And when someone calls up and has a different opinion to him, all he does is just cut them off, which is pathetic. It's just like James O'Brien on LBC. This is what James Whale's like now. And when I saw this clip, I just, he got me annoyed.
They say you don't need it then.
Well, listen, authorities can say lots of things and the government can say a lot of things. We don't all have to do exactly what the government says. I mean, we live in a free
No,
society.
your doctor I'm talking about, not the government. You're saying you know better than your doctor.
Well, I'm listening to medical advice, actually, because the government's own figures show that if you've had COVID, you've got immunity in terms of antibodies equivalent to the vaccines. And like I said, there's evidence coming out now that actually you have a lifetime protection against serious illness and death.
Watch how they now totally ignore what you said. Watch.
So I think the point of me saying this is not necessarily about whether we have the vaccine.
Sorry, James.
Yeah.
You haven't answered the flipping question.
Yes, he did answer. He said to you, no, he's not gone to the hospital to find out if he's got antibodies. He did answer that question for you, but he also gave you the explanation of why he's not actually done that, which is very legit, very scientific. But you can't accept it. Why is that, James?
Okay. The question is, have you been told by a doctor that you have enough antibodies in your system and you don't need the vaccine?
No, because no one's going to go to a doctor or to the hospital to find out they've got antibodies in their body. I've never known it. 48 years, I've never known that. I've never heard of someone going to a hospital or a doctor's to find out they've got antibodies. Unless they've got cancer, things like that, where their immune system's gone right down. But this guy's not got cancer. Funny enough, I don't want to... But James Whale's got cancer, or he had cancer, and I do wish him well, by the way, even though he is a prick. But for him to try and make this MEP or ex-MEP look stupid is pathetic. The fact is, he asked him a question of whether or not he went and got a check for antibodies, which no one does. He told him that he didn't do it. He gave him the reasons for it, but yet James Whale still can't accept it.
Oh, and by the way, when the government say something, the elected government, then, yeah, we do have to take notice of it. We elect...
So because we elect a government, we have to now listen to them and do what we're told, James. Are you really saying that? Seriously? You actually believe because we voted in a government, we've got to do exactly what they say. So if they say that we've got to jump off a bridge, we're going to jump off a bridge. If they say that you should go out and kill people, you should go out and kill people. No? You sure, James?
them to lead the country. And so, yeah, we do have to listen to what they say.
Yeah, sure we do. But, you know, it's my body. And, you know, I have sovereignty.
And why are you abusing it the way you obviously are? Looking at...
Look, can you believe the nastiness, the absolute nastiness? And that's why, you know, if I... Well, I really want to call James Whale. I'm not doing it. Not on YouTube, and I'm not on Minds.com. I'm not going to do it. But this vile individual, James Whale, is basically slagging off this guy because he's overweight. Seriously. While he's got a friend, by the way, to the left-hand side that basically says everything that James Whale says, that is even more overweight than the guy in the middle. But James Whale, because he can't win the argument, and he knows full well that this guy in the middle, this MEP, former MEP, has told him the truth, he then goes for the vilest things and slags off his weight.
At you, I mean, honestly.
I'm healthy.
I'm just giving you medical help. I don't care whether you're happy. You know,
He's
you
healthy.
need to... Are you healthy?
I think look, we...
Pure nastiness. Pure. How Talk Radio have got this man on is beyond me.
The medical research shows that I've got equivalent antibodies now as if I'd had the vaccine. There's also, like I said, data showing that actually I've now got a lifetime immunity from serious illness and death. I might get reinfected.
As James Whale nods. As James Wow nods. Let me see if I can get this back. One minute. So I get it back.
And death.
Well,
I might get reinfected at some point in the future. 'Cause antibodies.
Nodding. So what he's saying, he agrees with, but he's still acting like a buffoon, trying to make him look stupid. How the hell is this going on? Oh,
Bodies don't last forever, but I've got T-cell immunity, and so it's my body, and I've chosen not to have it. Now, like I said, the important question here is whether actually this whole question about whether someone's selfish or not is actually relevant anymore. I mean, we've got 200 people
But
in
you are
hospital.
selfish. You're waffling now. I'm sorry, but you're waffling.
He was just about to give details of who's going to be in the hospital. And because James Wow knows it's going to make him look even more stupid, he stops him in his tracks.
To actually demonstrate some kind of sensible attitude to this.
He has. He had the virus. He's got antibodies. He's listened to the scientists. The scientists said that he's got a lifetime of protection. He's just about to give you statistics in reference to hospitalizations, which you closed down, but somehow he's the stupid man and you're not. Okay.
The 99% of medical people suggest we have the vaccine.
I mean, what? I'm finding it really hard to... I try to be nice, okay? I honestly do. And I try to think of the other point of view of the person that I may be disagreeing with, and it has to be James Well, right? But for the life of me, I cannot see where his logic is, because there is no logic. He turned round to this guy at the start of the thing and said, have you taken the injection? He said, no, I haven't taken the injection because I had the virus and I've got the antibodies. James Well then starts shouting at him, saying, well, you're not answering the question. So he answers him again. And he starts to give him more statistics in reference to the actual virus and how he's protected for his whole lifetime. But then James Well, my apologies. James Well says again, but the government have told you. The government have told you that you've got to have this injection. Why wouldn't you? Are you stupid? So somehow, just because the government tell you to do something, you've got to do it in reference to James Well. This guy thinks for himself and says, look, I've had the virus. I know I've got the antibodies. I've listened to the scientific data. I've seen the statistics in reference to the hospitalizations. I've seen the statistics in reference to people that have already had the vaccinations and still got the virus. So I'm taking a choice for myself that I'm not going to be taking that injection because there are risks, and I believe that I'm more than adequately protected to not take that risk. However, the people like James Well and quite a few of the mass media today have got a major issue with people choosing what medicine goes in their body. And just because a government body tells you to do something does not mean you have to do it.